Welcome to the fifth bonus episode of the podcast formerly known as ML Backstage. My name is Joshua Luna, and I'm normally joined by my co-host and my best friend since high school, Kalihi Toves and Kainalu Kamai. And if you're new to this podcast, the ML Backstage podcast is a behind-the-scenes look at my musical project, or my former musical project, Mars Luna, the cosmic prince, the space alien singer from the sixth dimension. And since Mars Luna is a whole character, and I don't really, and Mars Luna in the cosmic prince, space alien singer, sixth dimension character is not really a thing anymore. We're going through some behind the scenes transition phases of the Mars Luna character into the next thing in 2027. And today we're gonna go over the latest artist formerly known as Mars Luna double single called Cosmic Cowboy, featuring the songs Answer Your Call and Time. And I've had some people in the past tell me, like, I made a cover one time of Sammy Arriaga's Left My Heart in Texas. And I guess that inspired some friends of mine to, push me to do some country stuff, I guess. And that's where this double single comes from. And, before I start, I'm in the midst of a huge life transition right now. And I'm not gonna lie, we're at the part of the transition where things are starting to get a little depressing. Just with the whole stripping of things, and just like I talked about in the last episode, shedding skin, just getting rid of old things, like the old self, and transforming into the new self type of thing. And just especially this week, it's kind of been depressing because I don't know, like tomorrow is my mom's birthday, and it actually made me depressed because normally I would think about celebrating my mom, but all I could think about this past week is how much of a failure and disappointment I feel. I've, as an artist, I promised to buy a house for moms and put her into retirement, but I haven't done that. You know what I'm saying? And she's gonna retire in a couple years, and I'm heading into school, and I'm in the midst of a career transition, so I haven't got my feet on the ground in the way that I hoped. But it is what it is. Shout out to moms, happy birthday tomorrow. Today is May 2nd. Birthday is May 3rd, so before I start rambling any further, let's head into the next episode, or head into the next part of the episode, where we break down Cosmic Cowboy, featuring the songs Answer Your Call and Time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast formerly known as ML Backstage, bonus episode number 5. My name is Joshua Luna, and I'm normally joined here by my co-host and my best friends, Kalihi Toves and Kainalu Kamai. But today is a special episode because we are officially in Nashville, guys. We are lit. We live now. You know what I'm saying? What you see behind me is the new studio that I got going on. We moved in probably last week or so, and I'm actually on the about to head back to Vegas tomorrow to go through some more of the transition process. But yeah, we spent the whole week here just getting settled in, and you'll see more podcast episodes in this little spot right here. And today we're going to go over the next two singles, or double single, called Cosmic Cowboy, for the artist formerly known as Mars Luna. For those who may not know, I did a musical project, or I had a musical character by the name of Mars Luna, the space alien singer and cosmic prince from the sixth dimension. But Mars Luna does not exist in that form anymore. And therefore, I'm going through this transitional phase, this kind of artist formerly known as phase. Shout out to Prince. Before we head into the next Joshua Luna project before 2027. And speaking of that, I want to start with the 2027 project first because last week I did a photo shoot for said project. I'm not going to reveal what the name is yet. I'm not going to do all that just yet, but I will post some clips like right here, just to kind of, you know what I'm saying, uh, give a sneak peek, give a little preview of what's to come. But that's something to be excited about for next year. It's the full transformative um, form of what, um, no, transformative artist form for me personally, because I'm going from a whole character to something that's more organically me because I'm able to express myself better as an artist now. You know what I'm saying? And these artists formerly known as Mars Luna songs are an indicator of what, or a light indicator of what the next project is going to be. So before I get into the gist of the episode, which is um, basically a detailed response of what the transition has been so far, let's go over these um, artists formerly known as Mars Luna songs. And yes, they're songs because I'm actually singing these two songs this time instead of doing spoken words or raps. Um, the next release is called Cosmic Cowboy, featuring the songs Answer Your Call and Time. So let's start with the very first uh, Cosmic Cowboy song, Answer Your Call. Answer Your Call is basically a very loose take on, no pun intended this time, of one of my favorite country songs, uh, Every Which Way But Loose by Eddie Rabbitt. I believe that's his name. It was a song I used to listen to when I was a kid, and this is kind of my very loose take on it. Uh, Hold on, real quick. Yep, by Eddie Rabbitt. So the lyrics of the song go, I haven't picked up the phone from the 808 number that's been calling since the day we left. We made it work for a while until we knew we had to pick a path. We would be riding together forever, or we would go our separate ways. We chose ourselves over each other now. What would we be if we risked it all? We tested each other's patience. We're stretched out way too thin. I've gone to bed so exhausted, and I've been mentally dead inside. I know that you felt the same way too, because the distance is from both sides. We went from lovers to friends to strangers, but I cannot fill this void until I answer your call. So you can leave me alone, so we can get the closure we both need. I will never understand until I answer your call, so you can tell me what's on your mind. I will never understand until I answer your call. So it's another minute long song. Um, if you notice on the first stanza, I also made an inversion of the Mars Luna song Together Forever, where I say we would be riding together forever, we would go our separate ways. We chose ourselves over each other now. What would we be if we risked it all? Um, Risking it all and together forever is a common thread for the Mars Luna song Together Forever. And I thought I'd make a nod to that in there too. So that's basically what Answer Your Call was about. Now, the second Cosmic Cowboy song called Time. As long as I can find the lyrics for this real quick. There we go. Is a song that was loosely inspired by uh, Nashville country artist or Texas country artist Sammy Arriaga. Shout out to him. It was based off of a cover that I did of his song um, "Left My Heart in Texas," and a lot that cover of that song actually inspired me to release Cosmic Cowboy because I got some comments on that saying, um, they would love to hear country stuff from me and all that kind of stuff. And I was jokingly telling one of my coworkers one time, shout out to Kayla, that I was kind of just toying around with the idea of uh, doing Cosmic Cowboy, or like they wanted to hear some Mars Luna country stuff. So Cosmic Cowboy was kind of like the the theme there, or one of the themes for a country-ish release, and Time was the inspiration for it. So let's go over the lyrics real quick. It says, "Time's an illusion. Wish that time never mattered. Seems like forever is the greatest curse. Just put me out of my misery. It took me too long to figure it out. To figure it out. Time is the greatest thief. It took away all my joy. It took away all my pain. Now I feel nothing at all. I guess that feels just fine. Feels just fine. Wish I had more time. Now I have no time. No time for me to make up all the time that I lost. I'm running out of time. Now I have no time. No time for me to finish what I started. So I'll finish this song." Fourth wall there. Time is a concept that I took for granted. Infinity was never a thing. We're all getting older and our decisions get weightier. Time is proof of consequences. I wish I had more time. Now I have no time. No time for me to make up all the time that I lost. I'm running out of time. Now I have no time. No time for me to finish what I started. So I'll finish this song. I'll finish this song. And I did. Um, the lyrics for this one was also inspired by Snow Allegra's Time as well. The whole thing about "I wish that time never mattered" was sort of the gist of this song. And, time is kind of a tricky thing because it's something that we think we have more of than we actually realize. And feeling like you're running out of time isn't really something that's meant to, you know, cause any kind of panic. But time is always something that you have to be mindful of. And that's what it kind of means when I say that, I wish that time never mattered. So at the moment of this recording, today is May 12th, 2026, and Cosmic Cowboy releases in 10 days. So whenever it comes out on your favorite streaming platform, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music or all that stuff, make sure you listen to you tap into Cosmic Cowboy. It's another 1 minute, 2 minute song exercise. You know what I'm saying? And these are just warm-ups to prepare for 2027. Um, and now that we say that, I wish time never mattered. Um, I knew that heading into Nashville, that I didn't really think about it that much because I was going through a lot of stuff, kind of personally before leading up to Nashville. And I made a kind of a foolish assumption that, oh, uh, like transitions, are meant to be smooth, but transitions are never smooth because you're always shifting from one thing to the next thing. And I kind of mentioned this in the last episode that there are, when you're shedding skin and you're taking away some of the old things, you have to get rid of the old things to make room for new things. And I thought about every single like life transition that I've ever had. Um, when I moved from Kalihi to Vegas, oh, not Kalihi to Vegas, from Kalihi to Mililani, um, I was going through some things before school even started. Like the summer of 2008, I believe, was kind of like the height of, some personal things that happened, that kind of affected my mental, with family and all that kind of stuff. But we got through that, and and then going from Mililani to Vegas in 2014, I was going through some personal stuff again, leading up to um, Vegas, and before moving there for school. And even now, uh, going from Las Vegas to Nashville, when I bowed out of my church job, and shout out to Shadow Hills, I'm wearing their shirt. Um, I thought foolishly that it was going to be like um, this smooth thing as I transition out from Vegas to Nashville. But there's still more things that I have to do before I fully root myself here in Nashville. Um, and I was going through it like mentally in my head and in my heart, just as because it's also transitioning is also a grieving process too, right? Where again you're kind of like processing change in real time, right? But with change comes nostalgia. With change comes um, grief. You know what I'm saying? And that was just kind of like how my brain was operating and my heart was operating. Um, and it became this mindless thing because I didn't know how to process the change in real time, and I thought I did. And now that I've been here for a week in Nashville, I feel more at peace because I know that this is home for at least the next several years, right? And I'm hoping and praying and believing that this is a foundational step for the next season of my life. And I haven't even told anybody other than Polo and Nalu about it. They know that I'm here now. And yeah, it's transition is also lonely at times because transition when you're going through a life transition, you're the only one who's really going through it. And people can help you and all that kind of stuff like that, but they're not experiencing it in real time with you. And one thing that I knew about even the Shadow Hill stuff is that like a lot of my band was also going through a transitional period themselves. Like I mentioned in the last episode that I have had a lot of teenagers in my band, very talented, really, really good kids. They have great support systems and everything. And, you know, with, when you're like, say, a senior in high school, you have a lot of life decisions that you have to figure out for yourself. Like, where are you going to go to college? Are you going to go to college? Are you going to be in the military? What are you basically spending what are you going to be doing for the next part of your life? And I had a lot of people in that spot in their lives. And I realized that, you know, I wasn't going to lead another iteration of the same team again. And and God made it clear through, you know, through my body going through some things, my brain going through some things, and my heart going through some things that, my heart and my brain and my mind were aligning in a different path, a path that's more um, conducive towards where I'm headed, uh, what I'm doing for the next part of my life. So that's kind of what, you know, that's kind of what the transition parallels looked like throughout the four transitionary patterns and life seasons that I've really had. And for um, oh yeah, and I'm looking at my notes here, Nashville updates. So my first impressions of Nashville were already interesting right off the bat because, you know, my first Uber driver when I got here, um, he basically told me and my mom that like, Nashville is, people are very polite here and they are, and that's kind of what the Southern hospitality thing and stuff like that. And, you know, people are, you know, people are very friendly out here. Um, and it's been a great experience so far. Um, but there have been some like very interesting encounters that I've observed since I've been here. Um, one of the things the Uber driver said, as he was dropping me and my mom off from the airport uh, to the apartment was that people are genuinely polite here. Um, but I guess like he's a Hispanic driver. Um, and that the the racism was more overt here. And on my second day here, while my mom and I were getting some stuff from the local Target, uh, I saw a white dude um, just just call out, a black dude as he was walking by, um, holding a Starbucks cup, wearing a polo. He looked like, business casual and all that kind of stuff. And the white guy was kind of a little scruffy. And he called, you know, he said that, oh, that's like a sissy cup. And then the and like he was, and the white guy said the black dude was a puss, add a Y at the end of it, and then you get what I mean. And I heard that right in front of my face. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, okay, there's new levels now. All right, like there's a regression here. But but maybe those are outliers, right? But that was something I kind of anticipated going into the South because um, I knew it was a different culture from the West Coast in Vegas or even back home in Hawaii, right? And this is where, you know, and the South was kind of notorious for this, right? If you just study your history books. Um, and that's something I'm going to have to, you know, tighten up for myself as I encounter more people here and and experience more things here. Just a completely different culture, uh, and all that kind of stuff. But the Uber driver was right. Shout out to him. Um, and looking forward to seeing to having more adventures here and to experience the new culture here, and but also spreading the aloha everywhere I go. You know what I'm saying? And like it gives me more opportunities to embrace uh my roots. You know what I mean? And I got to do that when I was in Vegas, and I get to do that even more here. You know what I mean? That's why I wearing these pearls and these bracelets that kind of remind me of home. You know what I'm saying? And that remind me of my faith too. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of like culture things, and also the whole gerrymandering thing, where the first day that I got here, I learned about Tennessee restructuring the map. Um, and Memphis is one of the main predominantly black cities in the United States. And with the whole gerrymandering effect, um, I think it was the congressman, something like that. They re reoriented, redrew that map um, so that Trump could win the midterms, and now the black communities in Memphis don't have any representation. Great, gotta love it. Not really, but you know what I'm saying? Like it was, those are. It's a little more direct here than um, not. I wouldn't say that it's more direct than I anticipated. It's direct in the way that I expect. I'll put it that way. And like let's just see how things continue. And Nashville as a whole has been great to me and my mom for this whole week. So again, let's just see how things go. You know what I'm saying? Um, if you are new to this podcast, uh, I usually try to center the episode around a question, whether it's a general question, whether it's a philosophical question, whether it's a fun question that pertains to each song's um, theme, each song's origins, or all that stuff, whether it pertains to an album, EP, all that kind of stuff. And since this episode was kind of centered around uh, time and transitions, uh, the question that I have for this episode is, how do you keep your faith when times are hard? And if you're a believer, or if you're not a believer in Jesus, it really doesn't matter because everyone believes in something anyways. Um, Keeping your faith when times are hard are kind of imperative, you know what I'm saying? Because without faith, it's just complete despair, right? And keeping my faith when times are hard um, is is essential for me to even keep going. Yes, I question a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, um, I'm reminded of why I need faith to keep going. I know why I need faith to make it through the day. Because like even for one, uh, some of you may not know this, but like without faith, without Jesus, I would have been gone. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm not gonna go there, but yeah, it's I was reminded of a verse recently. Um, Hold on, let me find it real quick as I look through the Bible. It's it's a classic verse, Proverbs 3:5, where it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding." And that was something that I personally was convicted with over the past few past month and a half or so, especially after I started the whole transition process fully, because it was like, okay, I thought I had this freedom. I thought I was like, all I have to do is just pack and then head out. But that wasn't God's plan. You know what I'm saying? because I was leaning on my own understanding too much. And I was kind of reminded that, like, okay, I know what it's like now to try to do things my way, and it leads to self-destruction most of the time. And one thing for me as a believer is that even though I may wrestle with things all the time, I do know that um, if I do trust in the Lord with all my heart, and if I don't lean on my own understanding, there is generally a greater sense of peace and protection and guidance and wisdom and comfort and grace and mercy that I would never give to myself, because I am naturally hard on myself. I I naturally I'm not necessarily a perfectionist, but um I'm usually hard on myself whenever I make a mistake. And and I know that, I need to give myself grace and I need to give myself mercy for that because I'm human and I'm not perfect, but I have to trust in God that He will give me grace and that He'll give me mercy, that He'll give me wisdom and He'll give me protection and He'll give me peace. I don't know if I just said peace, but yeah, anyway, all those things are essential for me and for my faith, you know, s- especially when times are hard, and even more so, an underrated part when times are easy, because it's so easy to drift off sometimes. And and yeah, that's how I keep my faith when times are hard. So you reached the end of the podcast formerly known as ML Backstage. Thank you so much for tapping in. If you liked what you heard or saw, you can follow or subscribe to ML Backstage on YouTube, Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, really. And you can follow me on Instagram, Threads, and what else do I have? TikTok at Luna B Joshua. You can follow all the music stuff for now at It's Mars Luna, um, on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, YouTube, all at It's Mars Luna. Those are basically collaboration hubs this year, before I transition into something new for 2027. And yeah, next month's episode will center around another batch of artists formerly known as Mars Luna double singles called Space Cowboy, featuring the songs, all these songs, and Light Years. And yeah, after I record this podcast, I gotta pack this and head back to Vegas tomorrow to um, to finish up some more transitionary stuff. So and get my car out here. You know what I'm saying? Because I pretty much took an Uber everywhere that I went, which was mostly Target. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in and tapping in. Um, hope you all enjoy Cosmic Cowboy when it comes out on the 22nd, and hope you all enjoy Space Cowboy when it comes out next month on June 26th. So uh, I believe I uh, got the release date for Space Cowboy correct. Let me double check that real fast. Uh, uh, yep, June 26th for Space Cowboy, May 22nd for Cosmic Cowboy. So, as Marzuna likes to say, um, embrace your odyssey and embrace your strange. Embrace the strange. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shoots. All right, y'all. Made it home.
I forgot to mention in my intro video that I just got a haircut. You can see right here. I have several appointments today. The haircut appointment was one of them, and I have another appointment later on for a really big project that I got coming up next year, and I gotta be fresh for that. But this episode is unofficially sponsored by Mililani New. Pardon the messed up can. I dropped it yesterday, so this month's flavor is watermelon wave, and it's got 200 milligrams of caffeine. It's gluten-free, vegan. It's got biotin, B6, and B12. Drink in moderation, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is an energy drink. If you need to pick me up, then you can find your Mililani New at local Target, Smith's, gas station, Walmart, Kroger, all that stuff. And I need to pick me up today because I got a lot of appointments going on. So it tastes like watermelon. But if you enjoyed this month's episode, you can follow and subscribe to the podcast at ML Backstage on every podcast platform: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and you can follow me on Instagram, Threads, TikTok at Luna B Joshua, and you can follow all the music stuff at It's Mars Luna on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. That music page is going to be a collaboration hub for now, and it has been this entire year. And you can also tap in on the music website at itsmarsluna.com. I'm currently renovating it, so there's a lot going on behind the scenes with that as well. Hope you all enjoy Cosmic Cowboy and the songs Answer Your Call and Time. Next month's podcast episode is going to be centered around the next artist formerly known as Mars Luna release, Space Cowboy, featuring the songs, all these songs, and Light Years. Another folky cowboy singer-songwriter type of songs. And shout out the garbage truck, you know what I'm saying, and taking out the trash. But stay tuned for the next episode next month. Keep streaming Cosmic Cowboy, and as Mars Luna likes to say, embrace your odyssey, embrace the strange. Thank you guys. Shoots. Yeah.